After 3 years hard labour, Team Soho have finally unleashed their Cockney gangster epic, The Getaway.
Mrs. Hammond, could we have a word? We've got a few questions we'd like to ask you.
Get
him in the car, move!
And if you live in London, or even just visited our beloved vermin-infested capital for a bit of pre-Crimbo shopping, the novelty value of this game is incalculable.
Go, 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 go! Suze! Susie! Ah!
It's possible to drive across the entire city in one go, should you be so bold. And it seamlessly streams together as one, creating a coherent world unspoiled by the atmosphere-destroying effects of the loading please wait screen, which is nice. As you'd expect, The Getaway's a bit violent in places and introduces Mark Hammond as the rousing ex-con, whose world turns violently upside down thanks to the criminal mind of Charlie Jolson.
Morning, sunshine. Drop it.
And right from the very first cutscene, it's swearing, the likes of which we've never encountered before in a video game. We've had to play it with the volume turned down to protect any minors here on work experience from the constant barrage of proper sweary language. Not surprisingly then, it's rated Certificate 18, and it really deserves it too, when this kind of language spouts from your PS2. The kids might love it, but Mum may decide to confiscate this one.
Rise and shine, Marky boy. You got work to do.
With Charlie Jolson's threats hanging over him, Hammond must take on various jobs throughout the city. These usually take the form of motoring to a location, carrying out a job, and then getting the hell out of there. And The Getaway provides over 60 cars to cruise about in. It's true, we've counted them all. And your best bet is to avoid the dirty-looking Vauxhall Astra estate and force your way into something a bit more flash for nipping through rush hour traffic. Thieving the right set of wheels is essential to your success, but the car control is definitely something to gripe about. The overall handling and collision detection is simplistic to say the least. And with the scenery getting in the way practically all of the time, it only takes one overcooked bend or badly timed swerve to end it all.
Very good, my son. You done very, very well. I see you bought
The story clips introduce each level with you taking control exactly where the plot ends, so you'll need to pay attention. It's essential to watch them.
Tired of this. You want this statue? You give me my son.
A considerable amount of time has been spent creating a storyline that unfolds just like a film, with hours of voice recordings and the obligatory motion-captured body movements. It's all highly entertaining to watch, although the character body movements are a bit ropey, and the graphical quality is nowhere near as impressive as those astoundingly realistic early screenshots.
Don't be silly, boy. Think what could happen to your little Alex. You're in no position to play around.
I ain't messing around, Charlie.
Ah, did you see that?
Just like in real life, or at least on TV, people leap out of your way as you mount the pavements, often jumping to their death in their efforts to avoid your hit-and-run tactics. Occasionally, the driving sections do require a greater sense of urgency. Chasing down a prison van, for instance, and trying to ram it off the road to bust out Charlie's mates is a rare occasion when you can ignore those little orange lights and concentrate on having some fun. These everyday destructive occurrences are playable enough, but after that it's back to following a path through London set by the game's makers.
Huh? What are you doing here?
Aside from all that chasing through the claustrophobic streets of London, there are 20 interior locations that need to be trashed too. Take this trendy Soho bar for instance. After a few sweary cutscenes, it's down to the business of torching the place. And you'll have to do it quick, as the boss is holding your kid hostage. Hiding behind walls and picking off goons from a distance works to an extent, but this linear structure won't please everyone, especially as each mission contains just one objective. Everything needs to be achieved in the correct order, and there's no messing about trying to find a back way in. Blast your way up the stairs, then set the place afire and battle enemies through the haze of a smoking room. And if you die, then it's mission failed. Surprisingly, the Metropolitan Police were keen to help out in policing the Getaway, but the AI is brutal to say the least. Varying classes of cop patrol the mean streets of London, and if you even dare to jump a red light or get in the wrong lane through a tricky roundabout, they'll chase you down and surround you with all guns blazing. But should you snatch an unsuspecting innocent when it all kicks off in a shootout, you can use a human shield to plot your escape. Unless, of course, the police decide to shoot you regardless. If you want to know how healthy your character is at any time, all you have to do is look at him. See how he's walking. If he's looking a tad stressed, you'll need to let him lean up against a wall for an energy recharging rest. But does this system really work? Breaking away from the traditional health bar is a bold approach, but trying to gauge your health accurately from the way you stagger around in a blazing shootout can be quite hard to judge. Stealth tactics are available, but the camera system is so slow and really isn't up to it. Plus, with no extra health available, your only option is to carry on regardless. And where's the depth of play in that, we ask? Surprisingly, weaponry isn't a particularly important part of the Getaway. Pistols are your default, with shotguns and machine guns popping up occasionally once you've dropped an enemy. There's no inventory screen and ammo to find either, so when your gun's empty, it's binned and you go back to the pistols. Simple. Well, perhaps a bit too simple for our liking. It's impossible to avoid taking hits during a shootout, and there's no finesse to the manual control whatsoever, taking an age to get clumsy Mark into position. But there are plenty of combustible features to use, like, for example, the fire extinguishers, which spurt out gas that's ideal for putting yourself out should you foolishly manage to set yourself alight, and exploding barrels for mashing up surrounding enemies.
Time to meet the relatives, Johnny Chai.
Believe us, we know London. We pass through it every day, and every notable landmark is here. Every street, shop and dingy Soho alleyway has been faithfully recreated, even if it plays no significant role in the game's narrative whatsoever. But with such a wonderfully recreated city ripe for some classic gaming, the Getaway feels like a missed opportunity. It's all rigidly linear, with absolutely no freedom to be resourceful and inventive in any way. And despite our disappointment at such a lackluster offering of driven third-person shootery, the Getaway still manages to surprise and entertain with some novel ideas. But perhaps next time, those loftier goals can finally be achieved.
Drop the weapon! Our police!